topic, but well, step by step.
Comments here. Yeah, I know that it was not a part of the discussion here, but I'd like to say some words about this. Space debris is a really important issue. We have more than 3,000 satellites orbiting and working in our neighborhood, I would say. That is a near and more distant orbits here. And more than 5,000 of them are more than 5,000 dead. So 5,000 dead, 3,000, more than 5,000 working in space. So it's a lot of debris there. And we have to find solutions for this. And finding solutions to bring the high speed and the high energy and space mechanism, space equipment there is not easy. I saw some possible solutions. They are difficult to implement, but we have to find solutions for this. Then this is also part of our concerns about the law, the space, and how can we work together as countries to get I'd say, a legislation that will be effective to work with this. If I'm sure you can realize if we have any kind of collision in space, and for those that operate satellites, we know that we have to almost constantly we have to move the satellite to avoid some of the debris, and this is difficult. Of course, it reduces the life of the satellite in space because of the fuel, and so this is no doubt a big issue that we have to work, and that involves law, involve legislation, will involve the parliaments of the countries, and for sure involve a lot of new technology that must be developed in order to be able to solve the problem. Thank you.
Can you hear me now? Oh, yep. I'm Irene Klotz with Aviation Week. When you think about plans of what your countries might be doing, are you thinking about partnering with government agencies that have been doing this for a while, like NASA, Russia, and now China? Or are you interested more in some of the new commercial services that are available in the United States and elsewhere, especially like the new human space programs and some of the commercial satellite communication systems? Thanks.
Yeah, but let's be fair. I think that even in the United States, space started as a state-sponsored industry. I mean, majorly state-sponsored. So, of course, the States is an example of how can you commercialize space and make it profitable, and how can you create new opportunities to get money for the good and for the benefit of it all. So today, of course, we have been discussing how to deregulate space, how to provide a regulatory framework in the countries, so for the space to be efficient and to require less and less state financing. And to provide more opportunities for private businesses and for commercial endeavors. And I think this is a route that every country will sooner or later undertake.
And it's of course not only commercial. It's first of all the benefits of our citizens, and we must think about that. Commerce is of course very important, but the goal for the solutions for our citizens is also very important. So, and today it was dedicated to space solutions for the benefit of civil society. So, as I explained before, we cannot, it was not possible to embrace all the domain of space. There are so many. So, today it was dedicated to space solutions.
Okay, as I see This is like a system. So we have to work together, the public and the private sector. And if you think about the basic science connected to space, normally this is connected with the government. So I have in my ministry, for example, 27 institutions, research institutions connected with the ministry. And so the basic science related to space and how we intend to know more about the universe, about the other planets and so on, this is more connected with the public side, and of course offers pretty much no interest, commercial interest, until we can get some certain kind of level or solution. And then comes the private sector, which in my opinion is essential for making all this operation viable or sustainable, financially speaking. And then, for example, now the near Earth orbits can be and should be used by private sector to make money. We have tourism, we have other opportunities being built now, and also applications of space. And then we have the infrastructure for those applications that can be done by private or public sector. But when you think about going away on the deep space exploration, it's more like a public and at the beginning, and then we bring the private sector together. And we should not forget also education. We need to bring the new generations conscious about space, about the opportunities of space, and then we have to bring the universities together. And that could be universities from public sector or private sector, and then we need to work together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, members of parliament. We are excited with the discussions going on and your specific role in the space arena. Being members of parliament, how can you encourage or promote cooperation within and among nations and institutions involved in space, as we have seen that one of the most underlined issue is really about cooperation. There are many countries that are far ahead and are doing very well in space, but there are some that are remaining behind. We would want to see a situation where we don't leave some other countries behind. What role can you specifically play to encourage cooperation, promote it, and ensure that we don't leave any countries behind? Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your question. This is a very important question, and this is the place to be. So we are parliamentarians all over the globes. So many of parliaments, well, they have elections. So if they will have elections. Some have had elections. Some have the problem of the COVID. So we are 12. We are 14 today, but we have 40. But we would like to be. We hope to be more next time. But this is the place to be for cooperation, because here we saw during the presentation there are discussion between two parliamentarians about a special topic, and this is the place for people, for region or country who are already interested by space or connected by space, but to help the country who are not yet ready, who are not yet connected to space. And so we invite the parliamentarians all over the world to come here, even if their country is not yet interested in space, because they will hear, they will listen about the experience, they can about their colleagues. And the things here, who is very important, it's the place where we make space understandable. So it's sharing experience between peers to peers, parliamentarian between parliamentarians. We are speaking the same language, so we understand each other. And so there is no techniques in our presentation, and this must inspire politicians, parliamentarians from countries who are not yet interested by space. And this is the real goal. It's to make all this member of parliament meeting, the meeting of the parliamentarians all over the globe to share experience, to collaborate, to collaborate between themselves, to inspire ourselves. That's the goal of the meeting. Someone? Yeah.
Well, I think this is one of the most important questions here. There are many ways. We saw here applications of space or solutions from space to common problems that we all have. We're talking about agriculture, we're talking about security, we talk about water, we talk about so many solutions that we can bring from space. And also some of the issues that are related to the entire spacecraft that we call Earth. So that affects every one of us, the knowledge about space and how to protect our planet. But I see ways, and I do that frequently in the ministry when I talk with some other countries. I see the ways of doing this cooperation. For example, we can and we should cooperate through education. For example, we can bring students. We can do exchange of students to increase the level of knowledge about space in other countries. And I do that with countries that are more developed than Brazil. So I send students there to learn. So it would be undergraduate or graduate level students. This is one point. Research together. So we can do research together, and this is important. So when we bring researchers inside one of our institutions like INPE, several international students, students and researchers were working there. That was another way of cooperating. And I think we have to see the problem from the perspective of applications or solutions from space. So we need to get better solutions for agriculture in certain countries that we have there in Brazil already. Why not? We can work together to find how can we use the infrastructure that we have or other countries have to work together, perhaps using a launch that is, sometimes you have the cargo there is still missing some kilos. Let's develop a satellite together or a nano satellite together, so we can get not only the knowledge of building satellites, also the knowledge of operating satellites and the application of that satellite for the needs of the country. And also our neighbors, for example, in South America, we have to work together. All the countries there, we have common problems, so we can, like meteorology, so we can work together in order to get solutions. We have at this time constellation called Catarina. It's a 13 nanosats that we are preparing to launch, and so we're working with universities, research centers, and that's open for cooperation with other countries. So this is an example of what we can do together.
And I would like, you want to say? I would like to ask to add. I know some countries who are thinking that space is not for them. They are thinking it's too early, but it's not true. It's not true. There are space applications who can really respond to answer to specific needs, and when they are coming here, they can see that effectively there are space solutions who can be applied in country not yet convinced by space or not yet interested by space, and really those space applications are really answer to specific national needs. I think to water pipes, and so it's really interesting that they come here to hear what we are saying about space application and to be inspired by them.
I just want to add something to my colleague, Mr. Ponta. I think to have more researchers in that area is so important, and the exchange of students is it's really applicable solutions. And I just want to add something about in that scope. Actually, a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken, one of the mottos of the United Nations was "leaving no one behind." So during the space work, actually, we have to try leaving no one behind, because there is a huge industry ranges when we consider AI techniques or data collection or to protect personal data. Everything become more related to space. So international cooperation becomes more important day by day. In that perspective, actually, in eastern part of Turkey, there is an observatory center is constructing nowadays, and we decided to make it free of charge for the researchers to make their research via using that observatory center. It will be become the biggest one in the region when it completed. So we need to have this kind of examples more and more, I think. So this is just one of the steps. I think we could have a fairer world, and this can be possible via increasing the cooperation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you to the press to be interested by space. Thank you very much. So,